everyone! Welcome to the first full-fledged video in the Reclaiming Wellness series. My name is Mandy McHale, and I'm here to help you reclaim your wellness. When I first had the idea to start this video series, I was really going back and forth in terms of what I wanted the first video to be. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it had to be this topic, decolonizing wellness. The wellness that we're exposed to in daily conversation tends to be about pampering ourselves or buying ourselves expensive things in order to feel better or take a break. And while that might be temporarily reassuring, that's not truly self-care. And more importantly, that form of wellness or that talk of what wellness is so discongruent for young adults and Black, Indigenous people of color especially, because it might feel unattainable or it might feel disharmonious with our values or our beliefs in taking care of our community rather than focusing so much on ourselves as individuals. I'm here to help you bridge that gap and start the conversation of decolonizing wellness and truly going back to its roots. To do so, I'm going to explain what self-care truly entails and explain a little bit more about our hierarchy of needs and how that actually connects to community care more often than society tells us. So, what is self-care? Self-care, like I mentioned, is often talked about as something that is a luxury that requires a lot of money and should only be done occasionally. And I'm here to tell you that all of that is absolutely wrong. Self-care is not something that is a one-off type deal that we only do when we're feeling really in the mood or when we really want to treat ourselves. Self-care is a necessity. It's part of our ongoing way to be human and to live in the world productively. And while self-care may look different for everyone, it is required by everyone. So the more that we talk about self-care as being this highly unattainable and difficult thing to reach, the more it actually prevents people from attaining it. And I'm actually here to tell you that self-care, contrary to its prefix, does not actually stop at the individual level. Self-care is not supposed to stop at us. We're not meant to take a break and forget about the world around us and then plug back in. Self-care is about refilling our battery, refilling our cup, so we can go back out into the world and better it. Self-care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting and nourishing one's own being. It's not meant to be temporary or expensive. It's a necessity, not a luxury. Self-care is also intentional. Scrolling on your phone, for example, isn't actually practicing self-care. If anything, it's distracting yourself or perhaps coping with a stressor in a less than positive way. The best way to think about self-care is to be intentional of your time, goals, and passions. What would get you closer to your goal? What rejuvenates you? What keeps you moving on your path? The answers to those questions are key indicators of what self-care might look like for you and what you should consider doing for yourself in order to plug back in, recharge, and then get ready to help the world again. Self-care allows you to move towards your purpose. And lastly, self-care is not meant to stop at an individual level. You can actually impact your community by aligning your purpose and your passions with self-care. However, this self-care needs to be intentional and purposeful. It can't just be something that we do mindlessly to take a break and hope that it magically impacts the people around us. By truly reflecting inward to our basic needs, we're able to achieve things that bring us to new heights and allow us to impact the world in new ways. The best way to explain this concept is actually through the hierarchy of needs. So Maslow made this hierarchy of needs pyramid famous. He essentially said that at the bottom, our basic needs need to be met, including food, water, shelter, for example, as well as security, belongingness, self-esteem. All of those things need to be met first in order for us to self-actualize and realize our full potential. We can't jump to the top of the pyramid without having those foundational pieces first. As you can see, this is a phenomenal way to think about our needs in the traditional form of self-care. It's very individualistic, it focuses on our basic needs, and helps us soar to new heights. It definitely all makes sense. However, something really critical is missing from this pyramid, and that's the community care piece. Something that often gets left out of the conversation is the pyramid that was actually created by the First Nations. Whereas Maslow focuses so intricately in the individual perspective of our basic needs, I want to introduce you to the Indigenous perspective. They actually flip the pyramid. They state that self actualization is actually the foundation of the pyramid, not the top. We need to first self actualize in order to benefit our community. And it's through that self actualization, and only through that self actualization, that we're able to actualize our community. Therefore, you can see that it's so important to really dig deeply into what we need for ourselves in order to continue to impact the world around us. Without that foundation, we're unable to move further up the pyramid, and thus we're unable to better help our community. Therefore, I really want to impart that it is so important that you first nourish yourself before you can nourish your community. Above all else, I hope that you take the chance to watch this video series or empower yourself to think about wellness in a way that you've never thought of before. You are deserving of self-care. You are deserving of every right to live your life to the fullest and benefit the world around you. In our next episode, we'll be talking a little bit more about mental schemas, which are the stories that we tell ourselves. Thank you again for joining me on this very first journey, and I can't wait to see you on our next journey together. Bye.